Welcome to the big leagues, Nadelman.
Yep.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to another episode of Fans in Motion, the ultimate Night Ranger podcast. Joining me today to help me answer all the questions that the people on the the Fans in Motion page, have presented to us to help me answer these deeply you know, needed, knowledgeable answers is Mr. Dave Nadelman, friend of the page since almost the beginning. Dave, thank you for joining me. How you doing, brother?
What's happening, brother? What's happening?
No,
How are you?
no, not much, not much, not much. It's just like, hey, man, you want to jump on the podcast? It's real simple. You just jump on. It's real easy. We start right away. Um,
Yeah, piece of
so,
cake.
uh, But in anticipation for answering and dealing with all of these questions from Fans of Motion, I have come prepared. A little bit of bourbon, a little bit of beer.
What kind of bourbon you drinking there, buddy?
And what do we got here? Oh, Jimmy Beam.
Ooh, Jim Beam Black. Fine stuff. Fine stuff.
You know what though? I'm not a big bourbon. I used to drink bourbon whiskey, and I got this shit and it's been sitting there, and I'm like, I don't know, just one day it's just like, I'm done. Like my body's like, we're done with this stuff. It's time in your life to drink like good shit. Drink something with fucking orange juice and cranberry, which I used to all the time anyways, but I would occasionally have this. And now I do that. I don't like it. I absolutely don't.
That's
Uh,
okay. You'll
yeah.
learn to love it. You'll learn to love it.
No, no, I used to. I used to
Keep
I had it.
trying. Keep
I
trying.
used to
Don't give
love
up.
it.
It's brand new year. Don't give up.
I used to love it back when I was younger, and that made me be a little wild, and I was like, not maybe in a good way, like, yeah, I'm gonna, there's 15 of you. Fuck yeah, I can take y'all on. Um, but anyways, Nadelman,
Yes, sir.
so to those who don't know Dave Nadelman, give us a little bit of your background here. When did you first become a Night Ranger fan?
It's a funny story. It's not a funny story. It's just a story. Um, so I grew up in the '80s, like half the people on this page, maybe more. I knew Don't Tell Me You Love Me. Sister Christian came and blew up and all that fun stuff. When You Close Your Eyes, I love that song ever since I first heard it, but I wasn't a fan. And then I was part of this teen program that the city used to run. The city I lived in used to run, and we would gear up for a trip every year to the Smoky Mountains, or we would sell those world's finest chocolates. Remember those things?
No.
No, you're a kid. That's why. And we would do it, and then but we'd go through little trips throughout the year, and then one of the trips was, hey, we're going to go see a Night Ranger concert in 1985, Night Ranger and Starship. I'm like, okay, I know Sister Christian, Don't Tell Me You Love Me, When You Close Your Eyes. So we go, and there's 20 of us, so we're in the second to last row, and Starship came on, and we built this city, and all the girls that were there were, oh, we love that song, we love that song. And they were going nuts. I'm like, okay, whatever. I want to hear Don't Tell Me You Love Me, Sister Christian, and When You Close Your Eyes. Um, and then that genie lamp comes out and the smoke. And they started out with Seven Wishes, and every song they played just fucking blew me away. It was just, and when I left there, I'm like, this is my band.
Now,
This is my band.
up to that point, how many concerts had you seen?
I've been to three concerts before that.
All right, so I mean, it wasn't like it was your first concert, and
No, no, no,
you get
no.
your wiener wet a little bit, and you fall in love. I mean, you'd been around a little bit and seen other bands, and this band did it for you.
It did it for me, and I've been hooked ever since.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I was thinking the other day, like, most people know my story. I was 6 years old, got into Night Ranger. My grandma takes me to go see him when I was 8. And what I remember most from that concert is not only the concert, it's everything leading up to it. I spent 4 hours sitting in a bleachers as an 8-year old waiting for them to come out because it was a free show. And 4 hours as an 8-year-old with no iPhone or anything like that.
Right.
You know, and and I just remember like a food fight and the souvenir stand and get what I got and stuff like that. And like I don't remember much of the show. I mean, and but what I was thinking was like I think in my head I always remembered the genie lamp, but I think well maybe do I because um the home video is what I watched religiously.
Right.
Recorded in September of '85, came out a little bit later, and I would not have known then anything about the genie lamp. And I wish I could remember what my reaction was. I may have been so far back, I might not even know that there's a genie lamp fucking up there.
It was
Because,
just the thing opened, the arms
yeah.
came out,
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I know it from the video.
exactly like the video was.
But I was just thinking the other day, it's like, I don't know if I really remember that. Or, like I said, it was 10,000 people. It was a huge outdoor event.
Right.
We got there. I mean, there's people there at 10 a.m. We didn't get there till, 4 p.m. and we're all waiting in the back in the grandstand. So, and there were no, big
Video,
video screens. So,
yeah.
but so there you go. And I'm gonna have Dave join me on a few other things, so you'll get to know old Dave Nadelman. But like I said on this episode, I put a post on the Facebook page, the Fans of Motion Facebook page. Hey, give us some questions or comments, whatever. And we're going to dig into that, but we got a little bit of whatever you want to call it, housekeeping, stuff like that. So, a few things. Carrie, Kelly, my buddy. Uh, so Aces and Nails, those that don't know, Aces and Nails, a couple restaurants in Vegas. Carrie owns. They're opening their third location at the Bend in Vegas. And in this one, they're actually going to have their a brewery, and they're going to brew their own beer.
So the
And
tanks and everything, the whole all
yep,
the tank.
yep,
Okay.
all that stuff. And their line is called Evolve Brewing. So what I need you to do, Facebook, Instagram, Twitters and threads and all that shit, right? Um, Pony Express, get on there, follow Aces and Nails, follow Evolve Brewing, not Brewers, not Evolve Brew, Evolve Brewing. And follow those, support Carrie. Carrie's also got a project that is going to be coming out sometime this year. Some stuff's already out. They just released another book with a vinyl. So the project is Metal Warrior right there. So it's like one of those graphic, not, comic book, not, stuff. And him and a few others basically, are doing the music. Firestorm was a track that's from that. It actually reached number 3 in the metal iTunes charts not too long ago. And Carrie does all the guitars, drums, bass, and then he sings a lot. So there's a female singer, there's a guy that does like the voices and singing, and then the melodic stuff is Carrie. So if you go to look up Metal Warrior Firestorm, that's Carrie. The comic book there, this is I think the first one comes with that green vinyl. I think they just released this book too. Maybe it comes with red, and you can get guitar picks and all kinds of shit. So you don't need your money, spend it. So go to Metal Warrior. Again, they're really heavy on Instagram, but they do have a Facebook page, and I think they do have a Twitter. So there we go with that. Also, I have all sizes in stock of this. Bada bing. Look at that. There's the Fans of Motion Dawn Patrol shirt. Bada bing. All right. $25 a shirt. $28 for 2XL, 3XL. That includes the shipping. And then also, Dave, have you seen the
Yes.
big Eric Levy thing we've been doing?
I
Um,
have. I have.
so three tiers. All right. So I better pull up my thingamajig here or I'll screw it up. So Levy and I have been wanting to do something. Um, So we got this Eric Levy. My buddy Massa came up with a cool Eric Levy logo, and I originally made one of these shirts, just a one-off, and I wore it to M3. So the big show in Maryland,
Yeah, yeah.
where all there's those different bands, and it was cool. I walk by Jack, and so here's the front. It's got the small logo
Higher. There you go.
on the side there, and then the back has the big logo on the back. So I wore this at M3, and Jack would see it and like, what is that, man? Kind of laughing, and and um everybody saw it and liked it. And at the end of the night, long day, a lot of bands, a lot
Sure.
of gatherings and stuff, and drinks been had, and I kind of pull Levy off to the side and I go, you know what? You see Dave Meniketti over there? Yeah. Or it's more like, yeah. And 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 I go, you see anybody here with a Dave Meniketti shirt? No. Like, hey, there's Brad Gillis, man. Motherfucker played with Ozzy Osbourne. Do you know that? You see anybody here with a Brad Gillis shirt? No, I don't. I was like, there's fucking that's the that's fucking Brett Michaels, man. Brett Michaels will poison. I probably shouldn't say. I don't think Brett Michaels was there. Uh, this is probably why he's on stage. But let's just say who was there? Pat Sajak, I know was there. Hey, you see Pat Sajak over there? You see anybody with a Pat Sajak shirt? Hell no. But I tell you what, my friend, you see anybody here with the Eric Levy shirt? Fuck yeah, you're the
Yeah,
true
you
rock
do.
star. So with that, for 32 bucks, you can get the Eric Levy shirt. Um, the 2XL to 4XL is an additional $3.35. Any profits, they all go to Eric. So the cost of the shirt, the shipping, and then everything else goes to him. So there you go. Cool thing. And then we wanted to kind of make it a cool, package thing. So tier two for 50 bucks. So just an additional $18, my friend.
Unless you're large, it's an extra.
Well,
Well, it's
listen,
still it's
yeah,
an
it's it's
$18.
it's it's still $18, man. Um, you get the Fans in Motion Cheap Trick style shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
just to confuse the fuck out of people, like Fans in Motion, I fucking love Cheap Trick. I want to be a part of that group. And they're like, well, listen here, fuckface. Uh, it's not really, Cheap Trick. And then for $100.
So there's even more.
Yeah, fuck yeah, there is, man. You get the Eric Levy sticker, and you get the VIP phone meet and greet, 10 minutes. So we're trying to get schedules organized and everything. Um, but you'll get a phone call with Levy. You got 10 minutes VIP meet and greet on the phone. You can ask him any questions you want about Night Ranger, jazz, keyboards, being on the road, whatever, man. It's your phone call. Um,
So the
and
$100 gets you all of that,
yeah, yeah.
or is that
Oh, look at you.
all
You're
those
you're
shirts?
like a
And
fucking pro, Nadelman. Yeah,
jeez.
for $100, you get the Eric Levy shirt. You get the Fans in Motion shirt. You get a fucking sticker, and you get the Eric Levy phone call. My Lord, people want Night. They tell me I want Night Ranger. I want Night. I'm like, here, man, who else is fucking doing this shit? No one,
Nope.
but we are, man. So there you go.
And where are
Um,
they going to go to get this,
I
Josh?
don't fucking know. Just private message me on Facebook.
Ah,
Um, we can't be too professional about it,
no, 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 we
So,
cannot.
but there we go. We got that. So Evolve, Carrie Kelly, Eric Levy, get your stuff, man. And the shirts are cool. I mean, they're done well. And yeah, it's a good time. I mean, I don't think any of this, I don't think any of the prices are unreasonable. Like I said, all the money goes to him. And yeah, it's just something fun we can do for, you know, the fans, right?
I like it.
And
I like it.
um, so I I try to think of ideas. If I could do stuff with the other guys, I will. You know, who knows? Who knows, my friend? Wait, I don't know if we should do this now, but see this package right here? See
I
this
do see
package?
it.
There's some Night Ranger history in that package. Some big history in that package. And so, what I want to do with this podcast, and Natal's going to help me a little bit here, is I want to start from the beginning and just spend a couple years going chronological order, maybe. I mean, obviously, I'll throw in some interviews and stuff that maybe don't fit in the thing, the chronological stuff. But I want to start, and some of the stuff, we've done episodes in the past. We've done the history of Rubicon, but when we did that, I hadn't talked to the guys in Night Ranger. We hadn't talked to Greg Eckler. We hadn't, I hadn't talked it a little bit to Jerry Martini. So it's like there's so much more knowledge that's
And
there
we
now.
had a lot less members, so all these are
Yeah.
new members, so it'll be new to them as well.
And again with Night Rangers, only so much that you can do. So you know what? It's like let's go back through. Let's go chronological order, and maybe hey, we do Rubicon, and I'll do some of the other stuff, and then when we get to Dawn Patrol, I'll do the history of Dawn Patrol, and then maybe we'll rank Dawn Patrol, and I'll have some outside people come on and talk about Dawn Patrol, and maybe I'll get the engineer of Dawn Patrol to come in and talk, and maybe I'll get some people in the credits to come in and talk, and then we'll slowly move to Midnight Madness all the way through the thing. That should take a while, right? Maybe. So, but anyways, so I was thinking, well, maybe I hold off on this, but you know what? It's like maybe not. I don't know, man. It's a fucking struggle in life. I don't think I do. I think I want to, I think I want to open this now. Night
Let's
Ranger
do it.
history. Night Ranger history. So now the key is not to cut the motherfucker. All right. Look at that.
The anticipation is killing me, man. It's killing me.
So this was something that's been sitting out there for a while. Um, and I think what happened is someone who lived out in San Francisco, worked for these clubs, had shit, probably died or something, or selling off stuff, and they were selling off stuff from the clubs in San Francisco from the early 80s. So I bought some stuff fairly reasonable, like an all access, cloth patch that has like Ranger and a couple other bands on it.
All right.
Stuff like that. Okay. Nothing, like I said, nothing too crazy price wise. But this, they originally had this listed for like 2,000 bucks, and there ain't no fucking way I was paying 2,000 bucks. But I did send the pictures of it to the guys, and they were all like, "Holy shit, wow!" And I think even Brad used the pictures for a post. I'm pretty sure he did. Um, but they were just the pictures from eBay or whatever. Anyways, no one's buying it. No one's buying it. And listen, I don't mind the, Night Ranger. I don't mind buying the stuff, but I don't give a shit about having stuff anymore. And it went from 1,700 down, or it went down to 17, then down 1,000 and down to 8. And it eventually went down to 200. I still ain't fucking buying this. And it finally got to where it was double digits.
All right.
And I was like, all right, I will jump on it because it is history. All the guys thought it was cool. You hear that? Ripping it open. Ripping it open. There we go. All right, what I'm about to show you, talking to Brad, and I think me and Kelly talked about it a lot too, is this is probably the first thing of its kind to ever have Night Ranger or Ranger on it. Well, shit. So here's the front of the shirt. It says Guitar Wars.
Okay.
Back of the shirt, Phoenix Theater, Petaluma. And then there are the bands. And if you remember the story from Kelly Kagi on and stuff, this was the battle of the bands that they were in. So this is probably the first shirt that ever had Night Ranger on it.
And it was going for 2 grand.
Well, that's what they originally wanted for it. So there you are, Ranger. Probably the first time they were ever on a shirt. That's what the general consensus was, because they knew they didn't have shirts back then. So this is there's a few stories, almost like an urban legend, where the battle of the bands, whoever won was supposed to get like studio time. I'll have to ask Kelly because Kelly always kind of brings this up. They're supposed to get like free studio time or something, or a free PA. The winner gets a PA,
Okay.
and they won, and they never got it. I'm pretty sure that's the story. But anyways, this thing is 40 some years old. And now there's also a story that I saw where someone was talking about this and they said that they were a roadie there. And um, the Michael Shears band, the guy that's right below it.
Uh-huh.
So I guess like Night Ranger and the Michael Shears band tied. Well, or the promoter made it a tie so they could do it again. And the second time, Night Ranger stuffed the ballot box in one. And I guess there is a rock line or something out there from the 80s where they talk about doing it. Like they admit to it, joking around and stuff. I mean, obviously, by that time they didn't give a shit.
Right.
But um, so there you go. Yeah.
So
So
is there any, wait, was there anybody else? I've never heard of anybody else on that shirt. Have you?
there's XEXXE and Farallon. So no, I
No.
don't know any of those. I'm surprised maybe 415's not on there, but maybe they were already established a little bit more. 415 would have been Eric Martin. That would have been the Eric Martin band. Um, they changed their name when they recorded that record in '83, but 415 was Eric Martin, John Nyman from YMT, and a smattering of other stuff.
I wonder if that venue exists still. Do you think that venue exists?
What would I say it was?
The Phoenix Theater, was it?
I think
What
it
it is?
does. I mean, let's get the old telephone here. Um, the Phoenix Theater. So what do you think of that, Dave? You're the first person that's seen that. Phoenix Theater, Petaluma. I mean, it says it's still there. Let's see here. Let's look on the Wikipedia.
It's there.
It's been in
It's
existence since 1905.
wow.
It's
Capacity
changed since,
720 people.
yeah, I mean, it's changed, since there's been a couple fires or some shit. But Phoenix Theater's bands on their way to stardom: the Ramones, Green Day, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Metallica, Primus, some other bands. So there you go. Um, I don't know if I can find. Let's see here. Let's do that. Let's see if I can find old Brad Gillis's uh, post on that shirt. Wasn't all that long ago. Photos, but there we go. Um, so yeah, so but will not let me pull up
But the guys remember it. They can't remember a lot of things, but they remember that. That's because of the ballot box stuffing thing. You think that's why they remembered it?
I had not heard the ballot box thing. That was from someone who had written a comment on the post,
Okay.
something like that.
So yeah,
Um, but all right, here we go. So here is the post that Brad made on it, and he made this August 7th. So that thing's been sitting there for a while. Guitar Wars, a rare cruiser from May 29th, 1981, when we entered a battle of the bands and won. The prize, a new PA system and free studio time, which we never received. At the time, we were called Ranger. Later in 1982, we found a double spread in Billboard, Country Band Ranger, so we ended up changing the name. And as they say, the rest is history. So there you go. And that's the shirt he used in the post, even though at the time it was not owned by the Fans in Motion archives.
it
So
is now.
it is now. All right, Dave Nadelman, are you ready to jump into this
Let's do it.
Fans in Motion thingamajig? So on Fans in Motion Facebook, if you're just catching this podcast, a lot of people find us through YouTube. Um, go to Facebook, type in Fans in Motion, Night Ranger Fans in Motion, click join. We got 11,000 members on there. That's where a lot of the hub is basically. We're also on Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. Find us there. It's also great that there's other places. But so I put on here, going to hit the record button tonight, and we will discuss your question, thoughts, etc. that you post below. Let's hear from you. 93 comments. All right. So here we go. You ready, Dave?
I'm ready.
Strap on your safety belt.
Yep.
Blazing through the sky, motherfucker. All right. Dylan James Sullivan. Not really sure if I know Dylan, man. He's been on here for a year. Yeah, he's got Elvis on his page already, so I mean, he's an upstanding citizen already. I'd love for Night Ranger to come to Grand Rapids, Michigan. We are a big city and it's been decades since they were last here. Lots of big venues to play. Grand Rapids. So let me see here. So I feel like I was just up there um not too long ago, but where the fuck is Grand Rapids in Michigan? All right, got to pull it up. All right. So where was I at when Nugent played? It was in Jackson. They were in Jackson in May. Dylan, where were you? Let me see. I'm going to do the mileage here. You can't fool us. So Jackson, Michigan. It's an hour and 50 minutes, man. Come on. Come on.
I've walked to Night Ranger concerts that were further away.
And they were just in South Bend. We were no, not South Bend. We were just in Elkhart. So where is Elkhart compared to you? Listen, man, I'm calling you out, Dylan.
Yep.
Um, Elkhart, hour and 56. Man, Night Ranger within 2 hours. You get the thumb out and you hitchhike. Um, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, Grand Rapids. Listen, Night Ranger isn't calling Grand Rapids and seeing if they can play there. You got to get promoters and stuff in that place to you know, book these bands. And that's basically what it is. This is going to be a reoccurring theme. I guess we'll wait till the question comes up. But yes, listen, Night Ranger, listen, I know if I had the guys right here on the phone and say, hey guys, Grand Rapids, Michigan, they would all love to be there right now. But yeah, so hopefully, who knows, man. It seems like they played everywhere else in Michigan. They might as well play Grand Rapids. Angela Valuz, Voluz, Angela Valuz. Angela, if I messed up your last name, you need to change it. Um, When will we hear Restless Kind live?
I would love to hear that song live. I would love to hear that song live.
Bam, ba, bam, ba.
I don't think it's gonna happen
Well,
unless there's a Man in Motion 25, 40 year thing. They
oh
never
yeah.
played that. They haven't played that live, even
No,
during the, no, that was, they've never played that live.
I don't even think they did it when they did the Dawn of Madness, where they played a few obscure stuff. And they never played it live on that tour. Restless Kind, I think it was up to Kelly. I think Kelly would play it. I know he likes the song.
Yeah,
You just gotta, you just gotta realize. I mean, they do play something off Man in Motion. They play Reason to Be occasionally. I mean, it's just the acoustic
I've heard
version.
it. Yeah, and it's a shortened version, but it's still,
But what you've got to realize is, um, when you're a hardcore fan and you're there and it's you and you're like fucking and then it's like Reason to Be, rubbing your nipples like it's fucking awesome. You're in your own little world
yep,
and you got to be in their world. And luckily enough, I've got to be in their world. And sometimes on one side stage, and you see him whip out a song, maybe like Seven Wishes, which, oh, fuck yeah, it's fucking great. And you can see the room go from this to
yeah.
that. And that's just the name of the game. Um, and so what you're asking is for the band to do more of these type of songs. And we'll take out High Enough. The fucking crowds go crazy for High Enough. You're wanting them to take out something where the fucking people are losing their shit. It's a hard sell. Now, um, doing what I do, uh, I get to see some cool shit or whatever. And I think I can remember the dressing room. I remember where it was at. I remember everything like that. I think it was the dressing room in Louisville at the theater there, maybe back in July or August, something like that, right? Of this last year. And Night Rangers maybe got 5 minutes till they, start walking to the stage. So they're warming up. And it's not the warm up that sometimes you see where the people, they do like you get to come in and
Right,
there's,
right, right,
yeah,
right.
they do that even if there's no fans. But okay, we're done with that now. Let's, okay, let's get our shit on and we're getting ready to walk. And they'll just start, Jack Kelly will start doing stuff. And all of a sudden I hear Jack going, I'll be your man in motion. And I just like all of a sudden,
Everything just stopped.
I'm suddenly a fan again. I had to turn around, and just look, and try not to like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. Uh, but yeah, kind of turn around and just, Jack's doing this thing and I'm like, this is it, this is it, this is it, this is it. So yeah, so I don't know if I ever told that or not. And sometimes I tell these stories, just like it's like it feels like bragging or something. I don't know, but it was so fucking cool. I mean, I'm the luckiest motherfucker there is. But
Yep.
yeah, so when will we hear Restless Kind? Yeah, I wouldn't count on it. Not that we wouldn't want to hear it. I just I think they've got so many acoustic songs that they can do for a show. They're not going to add more acoustics. And you're not going to
And
take
what are they going to pull out? They're not going
yeah,
to pull out what,
they're not going to
you
take
know,
out Sentimental Street. They're not going to take out Goodbye. They're not going to take out High Enough. So I think it is what it is. Wendy Lather. Why haven't they booked any dates in Northeast Ohio lately? They haven't played the area since the DVD was recorded more than 2 years ago. I'm going through withdrawal. Well,
A few
Listen,
years ago, they played Ohio
the
every other day.
well, she's talking about Cleveland and the Repepi Festival, Danny Repepi Memorial Show. So you had those, and it used to be every December for a good 5 or 6 year stretch. They played the Hard Rock MGM Casino up there. It was like on cue every December. Night Ranger was in Cleveland. So probably for a good 9 years, 8 of those years, Night Ranger was in Cleveland. Now, when the Night Ranger is playing basically Cleveland in August, there's I don't know what festival it is, go to the website, but it was a country festival and they're having a rock night and it's Kentucky Headhunters, Night Ranger, Brett Michaels and Foreigner. Now it's a festival show. It's probably got a nice little price tag on it. But they are in Cleveland, so you can't you got that. Um, and Yeah, I mean, and here's like again, this is what is going to be kind of repetitive is why haven't they booked? Night Ranger doesn't do the booking. Okay, what you have is you have a booking agent, and they don't just book Night Ranger. You just go out there and look. You'll find booking agencies, right? And they control 100 fucking bands, 1,000 bands, 50 bands. They got more than one, and a theater will call and say, okay, I need some bands, and okay, you can get 38 special for this price. You can get Night Ranger for this price, and you can get this and this and this. Okay, they may just pass on Night Ranger. I don't want that. This isn't what we want for a venue. They may not even know who Night Ranger is if they're younger. Who knows? But some of that stuff, they're like, well, oh, this other venue I work with, they've had them. They did
I
good.
believe that's one of the questions that is
Well, there
coming
we
up.
go. We're,
You already answered it.
so, so these venues are the ones that do the booking. And okay, I need something for June 18th, Saturday. Uh, I'm calling whatever booking agency. And what do you got for June 18th? Well, we got this band, and this band. All right, well, okay. We've already had 10 polka groups here and we're really heavy on country. What in the rock category do you got? Well, for June 18th, I've got band A, band two, and band three. Okay, how much is band two? This amount. Well, how much is this band? Well, it's a little bit more, but they sell more. And okay, we will take Night Ranger, and okay, it's this amount. And you put down a deposit, and now you got Night Ranger booked on June 18th. All right, so if that's the first June 18th, if that's the first show Night Ranger gets booked, okay, we're in June 18th in fucking Saskatchewan. Well, now that the booking agency, depending on how far out it is, might just let it sit and see what else is coming in. Hey, okay, there's other theaters in that area. We're 7 months out. What do you got? Well, for that weekend, what do you got on June? That well, 17th. Night Ranger's in the area. Let's do this date. Now, the only time maybe they would search, and this is just my speculation, is okay, we haven't got anybody on on a date around there. So, these booking agencies, they all know, everybody knows each other. Oh, theaters, like they make,
Right.
say, hey, do you got anything open on the 17th? Yeah. What about Night Ranger? They're in the area, blah, blah, blah. And there you go. Um, but
I wonder if it costs less because they're already in the area.
sometime, I mean,
Yeah.
you guys, I mean, I don't think I'm speaking out of school here, but let's just say maybe not on that because if Night Ranger's playing Chicago or Waukegan, anything around there, right? They're going to be able to play St. Louis, Indianapolis, Indiana. They're going to find a place that's going to pay them top dollar for the next night. Okay. Now, let's say you're playing Friday and Saturday night. Well, wonder if we can find a Thursday night And so, booking when the booking agencies get, call, hey, you're wanting something off Friday. Well, what about Thursday? You got anything open for Thursday? We can give you Night Ranger. It's a little bit cheaper because it's a Thursday. Um, they already got to fly to the area, right?
Right.
They already maybe have to have a bus, so you don't have to calculate all that in. So maybe you take less money because you got less expenses. And you get to add a weird Thursday or Sunday date. And Night Ranger's not the only band that does that. I mean, every band does.
Sure.
So, but again, um, Night Ranger's not calling up Cleveland like, hey, why ain't we playing in Cleveland? I mean, people are like, why aren't they on the East Coast? Why aren't they playing Philadelphia and New York City? Because none of these places are basically,
Asking
asking
for
for
them.
them.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, Let me see what we got here. Brad, kind of said they're playing. Sorry, yeah. So um, and then someone brings up the North Lawrence, Ohio, which is that up there near Cleveland, which is that show I was telling you about um, and they were just in Canton, Wendy. They were in Canton. Come on, Canton, Akron, Cleveland. Ain't that just one big old fucking city limit sign backed up to the next?
Next
Um,
exit. Just go to the next exit.
so um all right. Donna Bristow. Donna. Oh, Donna. How about La Bamba? You a La Bamba fan?
I am.
Fucking love that movie. When I was
It's
younger,
good.
I liked Night Ranger and I wanted to be Bob, Richie's brother, you know? Like I always loved that line, man. I was like, oh man, he's so cool. I'm like fucking 10 years old. And he's like, I don't know half my family members' names, but I remember Bob and Rosie. And Rosie tells Bob she's pregnant. And Bob just stands there. Rosie's like, aren't you going to say anything? And he just looks at her and he goes, not my first, nor my last. And I'm like, oh man, that's fucking gangster shit right there, motherfucker. And then she starts to beat the shit out of him. Richie! Anyways, there we go. If you got La Bamba on the fucking bingo card, you're a step ahead of everybody else. Donna Bristow asks, does the band have anything to do where they play or only the promoters who picks the cities? They don't play
You
the
just
Carolina much. All right. Well, we just talked about that. Mainly it's the promoters. Listen, they're calling the booking. Hey, we want this band. We already did that. Donna, rewind about 10 minutes and you will have
the
you.
full explanation.
But they were just in the Carol. They played two big shows down in the Carolinas. They played the Canopolis. That was down there. And they played another one, I thought, in the summer, like a free community show, like 10,000 people. But
And they got coming up in Georgia too, I think. Couple.
yeah, a couple dates in Georgia. One hasn't been announced yet, but it will be. But yeah, you know, listen, I don't know, man. Something about the East Coast and Night Ranger just, but luckily, hey, they've been in Tennessee a lot. Or Donna, if you're a true Night Ranger fan, move to Wisconsin or Minnesota. They are there all the freaking time. Um,
Bunch of Florida dates last
yeah.
year.
And ba-dee-ba-dee-ba-doo. All right. So Gail kind of gets into on the comments of this, and Mark Oakley, that brings up another good question. How much control does the band have over the time between announcement dates and the sale dates? The Iowa Aussie show killed me with only a day or so between the announcement and tickets on sale, leaves no times for planning a trip with fellow femmes. Listen. Um, so obviously there's an on sale date, that the venue controls. Hey, we're going on sale with these. Friday the 18th. Um, Normally you let the venue announce it, right? Like you wait for them. Um, Sometimes they announce it early. Hey, I think they're going to announce it on the 18th and they announce it on the 15th. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we see it, maybe we don't, right? Um, but we can't really announce it until the venue does. And I don't know if this was with, that Iowa C or whatever, Georgia, but if they're supposed to announce something, let's say on the 18th, and suddenly they announce it on the 10th and they're on sale, or they announce it and they're going on sale tomorrow, I mean, you can only follow that. Um, and uh,
And the
so,
band has no control over that. Or
and I mean, I think some of it is, you know, we're getting a little spoiled with fans in motion. I mean, think about back before fans in motion, back before I was controlling the socials. You didn't know where Night Ranger is fucking playing sometimes, right?
their
Uh,
website, and the website wasn't always updated. And
and I mean, the fan club pre-sale, the NR 2025, that is for us. There is no Night Ranger fan club. That was put in there for basically us to push fans in motion. All right. And I always try if I if they post, okay, the show is coming up, or hey, the venue's announcing the show. I will always try to put that information on Fans in Motion first and give you a few hours to get there if they got any type of pre-sale and get your tickets. And then I post it to the Night Ranger page. It doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes I can't do that. I gotta get it right to Night Ranger, whatever. But it's a lot of things you don't have control over. And um and I don't think it's any different than a lot of other groups. Think about your bigger groups, right? Bam, they announce a tour on a Monday. Pre-sales begin on Wednesday. The arena pre-sales are Thursday, then the on-sales are Friday. Barely do you have 4 or 5 days. So all I can tell you is this, Gail. Listen, there's going to be a show. I can guarantee like a fucking Karnak or something, right? Whatever. Fucking younger ones don't know that. I barely know. But um there's going to be a show, Gail, that you're going to want to go to, Night Ranger. I guarantee it. Put the money back right now. Ticket's going to be whatever. You want the VIP where you get the belly rub from Eric Lee, whatever that price is, start squirreling it away. And then when we put it up on sale, hey, or tomorrow, Eric Levy VIP belly rub package, you're going to be like getting in your little thing. Go, I got it. Bam. Gail, if I could do any better, I would.
yeah, I've been to a few shows with Gail. We chat about that quite a bit.
Gail, Gail and Victoria, I think, and Kathy
Kathy,
Juba.
Juba, yep.
I think I've told the story maybe in the last episode with Ed. Went to Monsters of the Mountain or whatever it was last year, and I was there a day early. So I went down to the venue. They got me, with Night Ranger. I got the pass and everything, and just walking around, just seeing what because I hadn't been to where they that venue, and getting ready to walk into the theater part where the show's going on. As I'm walking in, I about run into some people walking out, and I look, and it's like Fans of Motion shirts, and it was Gail and Victoria and Kathy. And I was fucking dead exhausted. I remember we went and got pizza. I think I fell asleep at the table, but
Yeah, we ate together. We all, the three of the
mm,
all those people you mentioned,
mm,
down in wherever the hell we were, Orlando
yeah.
last month.
Speaking of Victoria, Victoria Kennedy Croft, I'd love to have Night Ranger either come to the King Center in Melbourne, Florida, that's your neck of the woods, or back to Pittsburgh where I have family. I love this band not only for their talent and showmanship, but also because I have met so many great fans of the band. Um, Melbourne, I can't speak of. I mean, listen, Night Ranger is in Florida like every 4 months, it seems. So, um, tell Melbourne to get on it. I don't know. Now, Pittsburgh, I'm surprised they haven't been to Pittsburgh. The last time I think I remember them being in Pittsburgh was Jurgles or whatever that place is. And I didn't even go. I mean, I think that's when I was having my kid or as, there for a while, it's kind of a little just, eh, I got other shit to do besides Night Ranger. But, um, Jurgles is a big rock club. And I think it was a show where Kelly was out and Fred Curry was drumming. So that's the last time I remember them being there. I'm surprised that they haven't been there. Not, I think that they may be a little, I mean, Night Ranger's on a good fucking little run right now. Like they're not playing the rock clubs anymore. They're playing theaters and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And um smaller pavilions and stuff. And so they just might be outpriced and a little bit bigger now than Jurgles. Now there is a place a little bit east of that, Greensburg, Pennsylvania, Palace Theater or something like that. I'm surprised they haven't played there. They may have in the past, but they haven't since I've been doing stuff with them. So I'm surprised they haven't played there. But yeah, I mean Pittsburgh's, not too far from me. So um yeah, and if you get a chance to go to Pittsburgh, go to the Bigham Tavern. Gets all kinds of good deli meats and stuff. There's a good bar, drink some beer. Kent Mon, Mohn. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I'd be interested to hear about some of the band's favorite back catalog songs. What are some of the songs they've recorded over the years that they may not get concert airtime, but they are really proud of? Well, I mean, I don't know and I don't know if some people think I'm going to call the band and chit chat and
Get,
ask these
get him on the
questions.
phone right now. Ask him. Yep.
Um, it- um, if I come across like that, then I apologize. It's not what my intention was. Now, I can tell you some things, I guess. Whatever show, one of the recent shows, where was it? Um, Elkhart, maybe, in the dressing room, getting ready to go on stage and blasting Rolling Stones. Or no, it was before the meet and greet. So playing different Rolling Stones songs, and I'm a Stones fan, and everybody's joking and having fun, and like Jack singing different lyrics and all that stuff, and Brad may pipe up with something about oh I fucking love that Stones song and whatever, and all of a sudden I kind of cut in, and I got real serious. I'm like, Jack, listen, I was just up at meet and greet. You need to be very careful. There's a couple Puerto Rican girls up there just dying to meet you. You must not be a Stones fan, Nadelman.
I am. I'm not a. I'm not a. I'm not a.
Um,
I'm not a deep Stones fan.
anyways, I said that and I just saw this smile come on. Because, when I started talk, it's this fun time and all of a sudden I'm there all serious. Jack, there's these two girls. And Jack's like kind of like, what's going on? And like, there's a couple Puerto Rican girls just dying to meet you. Some girls, uh, Rolling Stones, 78 record. Do, 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 miss you. Do, 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 do. There you go.
There we go.
But yeah. And if you ever, speaking of Stones, this is totally off this question, but one of the best gifts I ever got Jack, because me and Jack will talk Rolling Stones every now and then. Um, he saw them in 72 or whatever. And I found one time just looking for Stone shirts for myself, a cool replica 72 Stone shirt. And I was like, oh, it's a fucking cool shirt. I bought one for me and I bought one for him. And if you look like meet and greets and stuff, I mean, he still occasionally wears, but for about a year, he fucking wore that
Wore
shirt
that shirt all the time.
all the time. Um, but so back catalog songs, Night Ranger. Trying to think. I know I had a conversation once with Brad. We ate at a Cracker Barrel by the airport, and on the way back, I'm driving, and I think at lunch we had talked about Interstate Love Affair, and he didn't really, I mean, he knew it, but hadn't listened to it in probably 30 years. And I was telling him, yeah, it's fucking killer track, it's a good track. And on the way back, he's like, play Interstate Love Affair. And so we listened to it. And he's like, man, it was a killer fucking song. And I remember him saying
Did he
something.
know it was on the teacher soundtrack? And did he
I don't know about that, but I remember him, like, listening, he goes, "Oh, that's Watson." You know what I mean? Like as a fan, like, oh, that's cool. Like whatever lick, like that's what, But no, with that, I probably told that story where I probably was talking to Jack. Somehow me and Jack were talking about it. And he's like, I said something about Interstate Love Affair, Seven Wishes. He's like, that was on a record? Like he only thought it was on I think the
the
teacher
movie?
sound. He didn't know or he didn't remember they had put it on, um, they had put it on Seven Wishes. So that's, something with Brad, with Jack. I mean, I'd had to think like, I know me and Jack have talked about Shaw Blade's record, Hallucination. I know probably his favorite track is probably Stumble In. I mean, I know he holds that song in high regard. Let's put it that way. And it was probably one of my favorite tracks too. So that's kind of like probably why I remember it. It was like, oh, me and Jack got a favorite track off of that record. Uh, but
I mean, clearly some of the stuff they had to love, not that was not their music, was on, the Shaw Blades. What was the other one?
well, I mean,
Influence.
here's the thing too is, I mean, and it's probably why I work somewhat well with them is, I mean, trust me, would I like to just sit down, Jack, track one, Dawn Patrol, let's talk about it. Track two. But I just know how not to do this, right?
Right.
You don't. Sometimes things come up naturally and that's how shit happens, right? I think the Stumble In came in because I had the Japanese version of the Shaw Blades record, Hallucination, and he didn't remember the two bonus tracks. I remember talking to him one time. I didn't have the CDs on me, but I somehow brought up the bonus track or something. He's like, I don't remember either of those fucking songs. We tried to find them digitally. We couldn't find them anywhere. So the next time I saw him, I just brought the CDs and we sat in my Tahoe and I sat there with Jack Blades and we listened to the two bonus tracks. So that's how stuff kind of happens. Like I said, but I remember one time me and Jack getting lunch somewhere like a teriyaki place or so. I don't even remember what's Kentucky. Um, I mean, I remember the parking lot as we pulled in. I don't know if we were talking about Don't Let Up, but we were talking about that. And so you just kind of squeeze things in a little bit. You know what I mean? As like, I always fucking love Nothing Left of Yesterday. I'm probably
Great
screwing up the
song.
song title,
Great
but
song. No, no,
a-
no, no.
and yeah, and he was like, I don't know. And I kind of did, hey, you got to live. And he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, that was a good song. So stuff like that. Um, but,
It was
you
probably recent enough for him to remember too. If it was on like Seven Wishes, it probably would have never.
correct. So, Yeah, so I would just, it's probably something like I'll be laying in bed, like, oh, I remember Jack talking about, this song or something. I'm trying to think of, just go through the catalog and see if anything jumps out. Um, Now, Kelly, I mean, I know Kelly likes the Man in Motion record. I know Kelly likes the Mojo record. Uh, like I said, I know Kelly likes Restless Kind. We've talked about that. And um, so, yeah, I mean, I just trying to think if there's anything back catalog wise. Trying to think if there's anything even from the newer stuff. I mean, I could probably keep going with stories and stories. Like I remember, I think I told the story the last episode where they wanted to hear Free or Wasted Time, and they've only been released on the 45. There's no digital copies. Well, I had the digital copy of ATBPO when it was first released. Kelly had sent it to me. So I had those two bonus tracks forever. So I was like, you guys are in luck. I'm probably one of the few that has a digital copy. So I played it. It was Jack, Kelly, and Levy in the car. And then I said something about Tomorrow. I thought Tomorrow would be a great track too. And, even like, Jack, I could see him inside of, it was just a couple tracks back and I hit it. It's like, oh yeah. And then hearing Kelly and Jack sing it together while I'm driving,
Wow.
it's just like, but yeah, I don't know if I'm sure they do. Um, I just unfortunately I I just don't maybe know exact answers. I can just tell you little stories like that. Um and obviously, the Man in Motion, Jack singing Man in Motion, warming up his voice. I
It
mean,
must
he
have been in his
knew it.
head. So
So Pam Gramling, how do they feel about performing their bread and butter songs for us over and over for the best general fan experience versus recording new music and playing what they artistically wish they could play more often? They definitely appreciate their fans. Um, Listen, man, they're on stage, they're rocking. Do you want to play stuff that they're not rocking to? Do you want to see the 10 hardcores rocking and everybody else just standing there? Do you want to see, and I think they do an okay job. I mean, I know, listen, I get it, right?
I will never tire of hearing any songs that are in their normal set list. I will never tire of hearing Sing Me Away. I will never tire
Mm.
of that song.
Listen, this isn't going to be around forever.
Right.
Stop bitching about set. And I'm not saying you're bitch, she's bitching or anything. It's just the general consensus out. I just hate what gets me is someone will be happy. Look, I got a set list. I'm happy. Here's a picture of it. And then underneath it, oh, I wish fucking, fucking Ozzy Osbourne, motherfucker. Well, fucking people lose their shit when Brad plays Ozzy Osbourne, right? And so it's just like, I get it, but I've seen you comment on the last 30 set list post. It's like, how many fucking times do I got to hear you fucking not being happy? It's just like, don't you don't you
And
just,
there's gonna be a day when it's not gonna be there anymore. And you're gonna
so
look
just,
back when you heard,
yeah, so just go and have fun. But, anyways, Pam, listen, that wasn't meant for you. That's meant for all the other people I don't like when they talk about it. But listen, I think they would obviously, there's probably songs. I mean, I know Kelly would play fucking Restless Kind and I Did It for Love, whatever. They play what, and I know Brad would probably play, yeah, let's play Can't Find Me a Thrill or so. Who knows? Um, but the fact of the matter is, Coming for You off ATBPO. Fucking awesome song, right? I fucking love that song. I thought it'd be a great opening song. And they opened with it for a little bit in early 2002. And watch the videos. It's just they come out, they're ready to rock, and it's just people just, what's this? And all right, well, that song ain't gonna last too long. Uh, And like I said, you see it, okay, here's a new song breakout. I mean, it did okay, but and you got to do a new song off the record just to
Yeah,
push it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, just what's funny is I see some people. I wish Night Ranger played deeper cuts, deeper cuts, deeper cuts. And then I'm friends, like I am with a lot of people. I'm friends with them on Facebook, so I see like their personal page, right?
hmm
And yeah, I went and saw this band. Not really a big fan. I went and saw them. I can't believe they didn't play this, this, and this, and they just play songs I didn't know. And I'm just thinking to myself, well,
that's
that's what you want Night Ranger to do, and but and the band that they were talking about was probably bigger than Night Ranger, fucking definitely bigger than Night Ranger. Um, and it's just like, but that's what you want Night Ranger to do. So
it's gonna be a never ending.
yeah, it's just gonna be. But listen, um, they tried. They played three new songs live from ATBPO Breakout. What's the other one?
Uh,
Bring It All Home to
Bring it
Me.
all home to me,
They
and
did Coming for You. Um, Thanks to Fans in Motion, we got to see Dance, at least at sound check, because I did record some of Dance. Um, but they never did it live. I think that was it. They didn't waste the
yeah,
time, but they, for a while, which I was surprised that like it went really good. Like, go look at either find my live videos or I'm sure it's on YouTube. They did waste of time. I know they premiered it, I think, when we were in Fort Wayne at Sweetwater. And I was just like, holy shit, this is better fucking live than the studio version. So yeah, it's I mean, again, when you talk about performing their bread and butter songs, I just always go back to be on stage. Do you want to see 10 people rocking out or do you want to see 990 people rocking out? And that's where it's at. Alan Hanner, Night Ranger needs to do another Seven Wishes tour like the one they filmed in '85 Epic. Alan, I agree with you. I push with Night Ranger management Seven Wishes all the time. I have been pushing it for 2 years. You got the 40th anniversary coming up. And not necessarily like, hey, let's get the genie lamp back out, all that shit. But my thing is I push, I tell people the reason why Night Ranger is where they are today is because of Seven Wishes. Night Ranger isn't a one hit wonder, Sister Christian, because Seven Wishes kept them in the spotlight for another 2 years, basically. You could say, well, they have Don't Tell Me You Love Me and You Can Still Rock in America. Well, those weren't rock classics yet. They were hard rock songs. The dudes liked them, but they didn't really blare up the charts. I mean, You Still Rock in America was kind of a dud. And Sister Christian's released, bam, that's what kicks them off, really. When you
Seven Wishes just
when you close
kept
your
them higher.
eyes, when you close your eyes, rode the coattails of Sister Christian. I mean, it did well. Um, but Seven Wishes, two top 10 hits, and a top 20. So think about MTV in 1985. Prince, Huey Lewis, I mean, think of all that competition. Foreigner, and Night Ranger has two top 10 hits and a top 20 hit in that era. So you not only have these two, rock hits that the dudes like, and you got to remember there's no classic rock radio. So, I mean, rock radio is playing all the new stuff. You may not hear Don't Tell Me You Love Me, You Rock in America a lot because, at the time, rock radio is getting all kinds of new shit,
Yeah,
right? And they got so much to choose from. It's not like now where 99% of that stuff's not getting played. You're getting basically the same, probably 150 songs every day. Um, but Seven Wishes, One, Midnight Madness comes out, not a big to do because they're not as big a band. Everybody gets to know them from Sister Christian. So Seven Wishes is really the first album that the majority of fans probably remember going out and buying the minute it came out. Okay. I mean, I'm sure there's some hardcores out there. I was a big hardcore fan of Dawn Patrol. I remember going out and buying Dawn Midnight Madness when it first came out. Okay. They're 99%. No. 90% Seven Wishes. And comes out 4 in the morning, top 20. Sentimental
Middle
Street,
Street.
top 10. Goodbye is a top 10 hit going into 86. So it even, I mean, like you're talking 2.5 years after the release of Sister Christian as a single, 3 years after the release of the album. And kind of like you, right? I know Night Ranger, but where do you go? You go see him on a headlining tour with Seven Wishes. All right. So that's what I push. I try to push to them, hey, they're playing these places because that album gave them another 2 years on MTV and stuff. And I have pushed where
And you know what? There were a lot of people that were in my shoes where Seven Wishes
correct.
was their tour for night where that brought them in.
And I try to bring up like, well, and it wouldn't be hard to do. I mean, you already do Seven Wishes, Sentimental Street, 4 in the morning, Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You could do This Boy Needs to Rock. They got that in their repertoire. So it's just really Faces, I
Which
Need a
would be
Woman,
I
Night
would be
Machine,
right.
um, I Will Follow You, um, and what I miss?
I'll follow
I
you.
think that was it. Anyways, so which I always thought, I even thought Night Machine just by itself would be a cool song for them to throw out. I mean, maybe not lyrically my favorite, but it's a cool rocking song. Uh, so you'd really be adding five new songs to the set list. Will it happen? I even
Interstate
volunteered.
Love Affair. You forgot Interstate Love
Yeah,
Affair.
that one. I thought it was on the teacher's soundtrack. God damn it. I didn't know they put on Seven Wishes. So I even volunteered to be the guy with the samurai sword, right? Put my fat ass up there. I'll fucking wave that sword around. Um,
That's who you need to get on the podcast, Josh. You need to get the guy who played that. The guy who was the
yeah, I don't know if we talked about that on the episode where I had the old roadies and stuff, but did I ever tell you we think found out maybe what happened to the lamp? We
I thought you brought it up at one point, but
um
I didn't.
we think it was rented. They think it was rented by like a stage or a magical company, and it went back to them. Like maybe like Night Ranger, because a lot of shit Jack had in his barn. And I think that was where the conversation went one time.
Just give
Was
it 10 years, Josh. You'll see it on eBay for 2 grand, and you'll
you know
wait
what?
till
I might buy that for 2 grand. Not a t-shirt, but um all right. So there you go, Alan. It'd be great. Hopefully they do. Who knows? Now they did do Interstate Love Affair at Soundcheck one time. And it was, I think I told the story
yeah. Was
because
it one of those you stop moments and you
no, it was, that was where I realized, like, I guess, too comfortable with all this, where it was in Marietta, Ohio. And I love that little city. And Soundcheck was coming up. I maybe watched a couple minutes of it. And I'm like, okay, everything's good. I'm not needed. I went to take a walk. Like I'm going to skip. Like I guess that's one of those things where it just again sounds like you're bragging or something, but it's like I've seen sound checks 100 times. I'm going to skip this one and go take a walk. So I'm taking a walk. I get a text from Ed. It's a little video clip, and it's like Interstate Love Affair. He's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, I'm fucking taking a walk. So I turn around, head back to the venue. But uh, yeah. So they played it maybe that night, but they didn't know it was just kind of goofing off,
Yeah.
like, and of course, no one in the crowd really knew it. So a couple people. I mean, I remember one person, a hardcore, was like, I drove 5 hours just to hear them do that, made it worth the drive, you know. So um, there you go. Well, Chris Stuvek, 40 years, Seven Wishes, 2025. Any thoughts of celebrating by performing the album in its entirety? A couple of people have Dave Beck protests unless they hire Jeff Watson to do the tour. Well, Dave, you'll be the only one out there with your protesting sign. Um, listen, whatever. Um, again, listen, I just the other day I was in a group text with management and something came up about some show, and they're like, "Ah, that's a good idea." I was like, "Yeah," and also 2025 is the 40th anniversary of Seven Wishes. Wink, wink. Uh, just trying to plant stuff in their minds. So, um, so Chris, I think I answered the question when I answered Alan. It would be great. I mean, to hear Kelly do faces. Ah, fuck. Even even though I'm not like a big fan of I Need a Woman, and it's but like his
Faces
vocals,
is Faces is
you know what?
that's a track. I love that song. I still listen to it all the time.
When I first started doing this again, I was actually doing Kelly's socials and eventually became Night Rangers. But remember I was on the treadmill down in my basement and had the headphones in or whatever, iPod or whatever the fuck they are, and I'm listening to Faces. Like, fuck, Kelly's so fucking good on this. And I'm like, wait a second, I got his phone number. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I just tell you, I'm like, on treadmill, listening to Faces, fucking awesome. And that was it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear Seven Wishes. James Brown, what are some producers that Night Ranger have not worked with, but it would have liked to? I always thought Night Ranger and Mutt Lange would have made an interesting combo sound. Well, I highly doubt Night Ranger, Mutt Lange probably just during that time period. He was so in
Def
with
Leppard
Def
and
Leppard, AC/DC. He's not,
yeah,
going from them. But Night Ranger was supposed to work with Ron Nevison on Big Life, who Ron Nevison eventually produced Damn Yankees record, both Damn Yankee records. Ron Nevison did like the Heart records and some other big records in the 80s. But somehow that fell apart and they got Kevin Olson, who had done other big records, um, to do Big Life, and then Keith Olson to do Man of Motion. So I mean, they had big time producers. I mean, for some that, I mean, Pat Glasser say that he wasn't a big time producer. I don't know if he was or wasn't. I mean, he definitely doesn't have a resume. But to me, he was doing something right with Night Ranger. Dawn Patrol, Midnight Madness still sound great. Seven Wishes, maybe not sonically as great as those records, but he did something right because he got three top 20 hits, two top tens out of that record. Is when they
and
went
I
to
don't know
his
if they've ever discussed with you of if someone they'd want to work with or it's
Well, I mean, a lot of that stuff like that is stuff that, when we're 80,
yes.
and if they still got podcasts or you guys could all fly in and, we can get rocking chairs on the porch. I'll tell you all the stories. But, uh, and I don't know I don't know if it was who they wanted to work with. It was, what are some producers that Night Ranger haven't worked with but would have liked to? I don't know. I've never really had that discussion with them. Like, who would they? I mean, I know Jack holds Nevison in high regard. I mean, Jack's told me stories about Nevison. Um, Yeah, I mean, again, that's just a little bit too deep. I think, being with the guy, hey, what produce, unless it would come up naturally, which
Right, 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 right.
that's a little bit hard to. But, um, I know we've, Nevison, and I mean, Nevison produced Neverland. Um, so I mean, he has produced a Night Ranger record. But as for someone they have wanted to work with, um, I just don't know. I mean, who would I? I mean, I guess any producer. I mean, I always liked Bob Rock. Anything he touched, I mean, I thought sonically always sounded good. Now, um, you know, who was the guy that produced first Fairbairn produced Slippery When Wet, and um,
Bruce Fairman? Is that Bruce Fairman?
Bruce, he died, and right after he did the Kiss Psycho Circus record. But anyways, the guy that produced Slippery When Wet, Bruce Fairbrand or Fairborn, someone knows it. A lot of his records. I mean, if I saw his name on a record, I always knew it was going to be um, a good record. Like to me, like some of the best sonically sounding records were uh,
Bruce Fairbairn.
Fairbank. All right, him, Bob Rock. That's two names that come off the top of my head. Another guy you don't think of, but always had good sounding records was Mike Klink. I think he produced Appetite, just off the top of my head. Produced some Sammy records, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so producer wise, I mean, that's who I like. You got any producers that that's just what was so crazy in the 80s. You knew, being a kid and looking at the liner notes, like I knew different producers and
Right,
stuff
right.
like that. And a guy that I remember coming up in the 90s I like was Brendan O'Brien. Did some alternative bands and stuff, but I was like, if I saw his name as a producer, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm going to check this out because everything he produces, I've fucking liked. Um, and not so much, anymore is it like that. But there you go, my buddy James. Carletta Casto. I would love to know the comparison with how the band felt and how comparison with how the band felt it in the early years and how they feel now when they travel and do shows. I'm sure that over the years experiences and they look out, see the crowd differently than before. Um, again, I guess I mean, I'm interpreting here. I mean, again, if I let on that I'm talking to the guys and getting answers, I apologize. I mean, I mean, listen, Jack's 70, Kelly's 71, 72, Brad's 67, 68. They take care of themselves. They eat really well. Um, where
Brad's
when,
always swimming and
well, you know what? Here's a funny story is Brad, even the post pictures that he doesn't post, he'll send me a picture of him in the pool, like, how's Ohio? Because he knows I got like 5 feet of fucking snow or some shit. And then one day, I'm looking for an old photo, right? Like, and I'm doing the big swipes, and I realize shirtless guy, shirtless guy, shirtless guy, shirtless guy. And I'm like, if something died, if I died, it's like my brother had to get my phone. Who's this guy that my brother has shirtless pics of in the pool? It's like, all right, because a lot of times I'll save them and we use them, hey, I'm at the pool and,
right, right.
whatever. And then I just get busy. I don't delete them. They just stay in there. And like, yeah, my brother's going to contact Brad. I don't know if you're in a relationship with my brother, but, anyway, I told Brad that we kind of had a good laugh, but, so, uh, so yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you, this summer, because if you remember the last episode, me and Ed talked
Ed.
about where I was with them for a week, and they were already out for a week, and I skipped a show and went ahead. So we're talking about a 2 week run where it's not just weekends; it's 2 weeks on a bus. And if you listen, I mean, it was even just me and Ed were kind of like talking about how we were tired. And just now imagine being up on stage and all that energy, being 70 years old. Um, I think they definitely, and sometimes if they don't have to sound check, they don't just to save themselves like vocally and stuff. So I think, I think that, the health wise, I mean, it's not like, back then when you could go play, do a couple lines of blow or whatever and fucking party all night, hop on a bus, party and crash and then wake up and do it. I mean, think about any of us. None of us,
Yeah,
can do
that's
this. So, um, and I think seeing the crowd differently. I mean, yeah, I mean, you, I think they get a kick out seeing, obviously the older fans, but then they see the kids and the grandkids and stuff like that. And I think that, you know,
I,
impacts.
you see I see that at shows like Brad will go down and like make sure he hands the pick or the guitar pick to
Mm.
the grandson of the grand. I mean, and just the smile on their faces. I mean, they love that.
Oh, Brad is great on finding the kids. Like I'll always grab guitar picks and, kids in wheelchairs and stuff like that. So they're already taken care of, but Brad will find them and take care of them. And, um, yeah, so, they're good at that. And, um, yeah, I mean, I look at it as I go out with them for 3 days and I'm fucking done. I don't want to see you guys for 2 fucking months. I don't want to leave and it's like, you guys have been doing this for 40 some years and you're doing it again next weekend. Like, I mean, maybe if I was getting paid that or I'm on the stage doing it, maybe that's different. But it's like, I guess just the rush of the stage. I mean, if it was me, my farewell tour had been fucking when I was 53 and, I'd be living off my residuals. Um, but again, I think there's that thing with the stage. You know what I mean? Like you can't fucking buy that rush. And um, Melanie Parker, are they planning on recording any new material? Well, we've talked a little bit about the Christmas song, right? They did Feliz Navidad. I can't really talk about where that's coming up at stuff, but it's out there. Uh,
They played it at the show I was at in Orlando
yeah.
last
Did,
month.
did they do a few like audience records there? I thought they did it somewhere, but they had to get some audience recordings and stuff for it. Um, but yeah, so you got that. But other than that, you don't have any new material Night Ranger wise. Now, could that ever change? I mean, ATPO came up quick now, obviously because of COVID, but it was like, all right, we're doing a record, and bam, putting stuff together, and you get 14 songs or so. Um, but right now, there's just nothing. They're focusing on touring and I don't know. I mean, it's nothing with Night Ranger. It's like with a lot of bands, it's always to me sometimes it's like you put all that effort into a record, and yeah, I mean, you got to look at it like, oh, the hardcores love it, but it comes out and then it's gone, and you're not making much money off of it, and I think Kiss, I mean, I was, a big Kiss fan. It's like they did a couple records, 2008, 2012, and they kind of just said, "Yeah, we're done." It's like people don't want to hear the new stuff. You don't have the same perspective as you did when you were in your 20s and 30s, and you're 70 and you can't really write about girls, and it just seems, so I don't know. But right now, nothing new music on the horizon. Now, there's always, how we've had the orchestra show in the past and acoustic, record. There's always been something, right? And there's always something being worked on, but no new material as we speak. Lawrence Fairman. What would it take, money, logistics, for a private film sponsored performance with a crowdsourced film playlist. Would the band enjoy the opportunity to dust off deep tracks for such a performance? And this one side, Fem Fantasy. Gail Roman kind of jumps on the thing there, wondering the same thing. We just pick a neutral concert location later this year, gather the time frame, and plan. So, well, listen. Um, all right. What does Night Ranger get to play? I want you to think about a number and probably fucking double or triple it, but at least. But what do they get to play? Whatever that number is, you got to pay for them to do a film. They're not going to do it for free. I mean, no one's going to do anything for free, right? I don't want them to do it for free. Whatever. But if they can go play the State Theater for X amount of dollars, or play the film convention for X amount of dollars, but have to learn a whole new set, you're going to have to pay it higher because
Yes.
you're going to have rehearsals and everything else and blah, 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 blah. So it just isn't as easy as we're going to
And the
have.
expenses, and it's not just the
Yeah.
hiring them to play,
And
it's the
who's going
ex
and who's
who's going to
going
guarantee it?
and I mean, and if anything, let's just say you're kind of being a promoter, right? Okay, here's the venue. Like I would have to go rent the State Theater. Okay, I'm booking the State Theater. Here's my cost for it. I'm bringing in the band. Here's how many tickets I got to sell. Well, they're doing the complete Man in Motion tour or record. Well, I've lost 90% of people there because people want to hear Sister Christian and Don't Tell Me you Love Me. So now I got to make ticket prices even more expensive than being more expensive because they've got to do 3 day rehearsals to learn all these new songs. Um, yeah, that's just not going to happen. Now, back in the day when I first really thought what would happen would be you get a hotel, ballroom, right? Why do you get a hotel ballroom and stuff like that? Well, one, insurance. You don't think about insurance. Well, if you do a ballroom, the hotel's got the insurance. You don't. Um, that's just one of 100 things. But you don't think about it. I just want Night Ranger to play, a film convention. Well, okay, you're going to play a venue here and do this and all this stuff. Things you got to think of. But anyways, you do like a convention, a ballroom, and you bring out Gary Moon, you bring out Joel Hoekstra, you bring out, a couple speakers, this guy did the recording on Big Life, and here's the Mark Newman, the roadie throughout the '80s, right? That's how I visioned it um, before I got into the whole Night Ranger world. Now, Night Ranger and us have talked about doing a Night Ranger convention where it really wouldn't be, again, I don't know if you could do a show. Maybe you do like a regular concert Saturday night and you have the convention Friday night. But what I've pushed is, you got different packages, but you could buy the Kelly Kagi VIP meet and greet, which is, you get to meet Kelly or whatever, but then you get to go sit in front of his drum kit and get pictures. And then you get to go to a private Kelly Kagi Q&A. Or you could buy the 5 package and it's rotating. Okay, group one, you start with Eric. Group two starts, and you just every half hour you go through. Maybe you get, we find the Night Ranger banner from one tour and, we hang it up and, stuff like that. I think if you did Night Ranger, right, at either a film convention or a Night Ranger convention, definitely a film convention,
Yeah.
it would have to be acoustic. Very low load in, stuff like that. And would you have to learn the songs? Eh,
Yeah, you
you
can
know,
get away with.
all right, we're doing Big Life, you know, Big Life. Here's the solo. All right, do you think Brad wants to go learn these fucking solos with all the shit he was doing back in the 80s? That would take him forever. What the fuck was I doing here? And and then Carrie's got to learn all Watson shit. Like, yeah, what the fuck, And then he's got to do this for 10 songs they haven't played in forever. And but acoustic, you could just ding 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 ding. Ah, we don't remember.
You can fudge
Uh,
it.
and so I think that would be the way you would do it. So listen, what I love to do so it makes it a little hard to do a film convention because we're so intertwined with Night Ranger. Could I bring in ex members and stuff and do a fans of motion thing? Yeah, it's a little murky there. Um,
What about a Josh Christopherson dunk tank?
oh, fucking people love that. I'd fucking love
Yeah,
it, man. I'd be sitting up
that's all you
there,
need. You don't even need the band to
fucking
show up.
fucking shirtless up there. But the problem is, all you fucks, right? And I know none of you guys got fucking any aim. I'd be sitting up there dry as fuck, you know, motherfuckers. All right, so hopefully, Lawrence, I answered your question and disappointed you, but the band opportunity to dust off deep tracks for performance, no, they're not itching to go play I Know Tonight off of Big Life. Um, but listen, if our wallets are big enough and whatever you're thinking it is, multiply that by four. Um, of course, but no. Um, Dave Glazer, any new trousers for Christmas, the tight kind. For those that don't know, I love fucking Eddie's coming out tonight. But the one thing that kind of stuck is you don't have the word trousers in a song. Even though there is what was I listening to the Pretenders not too long ago and fucking rocking along to one of the early Pretender records, and I'm pretty sure she's like, trousers. I'm like, what? God damn it. Skip this song. But Dave Glazer, here's my real question for you. When you started this group during the pandemic, did you have any idea you'd all immediately live in the dream? And if so, did you anticipate the dream would actually become a Night Ranger mare? Yeah, look at that creativity on Dave. No, never. When Brent and Andy, we did the podcast starting in summer of 2021, 20,
2020,
20, and started the page. What I do? Start the
like
page in
April or something.
April. Um, no, I mean, I think I even said to them, uh, Night Ranger's never going to notice us. I mean, I think one of them, Night Ranger will do it. It's like, no, they're not. You know what I mean? Uh, so did I ever think that? No. Uh, I think I told some stories maybe with Ed last, there's times where, it's surreal, right? It has to be. I mean, we're all Night Ranger fans here. I mean, just think if any of you out there were like, hey, do you want to become friends with your favorite band? And like it's happened to me, right? It's surreal, I get a Christmas card from Jack Blades. It's like, what the fuck, you know? Um uh I mean, I guess you lose a little bit. I mean, I tell people I'll never be in the front row rocking a Night Ranger. Yeah, it just makes it a little bit weird. But I go to shows and whatever I'm doing, sometimes I'll just stop, sit down in an empty seat, and I'll just enjoy it for what it is. I mean, it's lost a little bit. I mean, it's like, but you gain so much. I don't know. I think I told this story with the I'll tell it again. I don't know. Maybe I didn't tell the story. But a month ago or so, I was driving home and through the city, and XM radio when you close your eyes comes on. I'm like, I haven't heard that in a while, like got a real nice stereo system in my truck, I'll turn that up and fucking turned it up and I'm driving, and stop at a stoplight. And I'm like, yeah, I need to call Jack and see what we're doing about that one thing. Close your eyes. Yeah, I need to fucking get with Brad. We need to finish that post. Dream, dream. I wonder what the fuck Levy's up to. That fucker hasn't texted me in a couple days. Help me when you close your eyes. Wonder if Kelly's still in Chicago. About me, Carrie. I need to get a hold of Carrie, finish the Evolve and Ace's Nails thing. And it's just like, and I kind of, whenever somewhere through that, I'm like, well, that has never happened really before, I guess, where Night Rangers come on and I just subconsciously go through the band members and like what I need to catch up on each of them with. And I mean, I tell the story. It sounds, I mean, I don't want to be bragging or whatever. I mean, it's just, dude, I'm like a fat Make-A-Wish kid. That's, I'm living the dream. All of us wish we could somehow. I don't know. It happened. Um, yeah, I would have never thought, Dave Glazer. I would never thought, man. And it wasn't easy. I mean, it's not easy. I,
It can't be because I mean your mind has you have to go to that place that you're
you
not the
you got to remember, I'm a fan,
right.
and they're bringing a fan in. Like you got to get through the road crew first. I think my military background helped a lot. And I always tell people like I don't like people to begin with. I barely like the guy as a Night Ranger. So I think like that thing, like it's like I think that attitude has helped. But you had to get, you have to be cool with the road crew.
Yeah.
You have to, oh, here's Jack Blades. Don't shit yourself because you want to. Like, I still remember the first time going to dinner with Jack Blades. And I'm like, there's fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like anything, that stops after a while, but it's still, I'm sitting here and there's Jack Blades and we're fucking, and he's telling stories. And I'm like, it's just, and you can't screw up. And, there's a lot of walls and barriers and each one of them has them. And you just got to earn their trust. And, um, yeah. So did I ever think, no, no. And, I try not to take it, what I mean, I try to, I guess, relish in it and, you know, I don't know. Like, oh, the guy who just called me is the guy in my favorite band who wore the yellow and black Bumblebee suit, calling me to see what the fuck, hey, what, you going to this weekend shows, blah, blah, blah. I think a story I like, told Ed, I think I told on the last episode. Basically, go listen to last week's episode. And you'll hear all these stories again. I think I told Ed when me and Blades went to the Air Force Museum. And I'd been there many times, so I'm kind
Right.
of just looking around. Like, where'd Jack go? And I see him 20 feet over, and it's just, there's an old guy with a hat looking up. And I see him. I just stopped. I was like, kind of in my mind, morphing him into the big hair and the blue turquoise Seven Wishes outfit and, no shirt on. And that's that guy right there looking up at that plane. Okay, yeah, back to reality, So no, Dave, and hopefully, I mean, it's been a ride for all of us. I mean, I think this page has given all of us a little, I mean, I think we all know the band a little bit better, right? I mean, than we did. Um, I
Well, just
think,
think, I mean, in 2020, we didn't have any shows to go to. We had nothing to go to. We had nothing to go to. And when they came after that, we would want to see them. But now we kind of get it daily with with your posts and your lives and you know,
well, I mean, think about how non-existent the Night Ranger socials. Think how non-existent. the individual members' socials were. Um, so I mean, I guess the biggest thing is one, we got the Night Ranger socials going. We know about shows, right? That's the biggest thing. We know what's going on. And two, we've developed this community. So even though I've been blessed or whatever to be where I'm at, like hopefully I'm able to at least spit out some of this information on the podcast and the post, hey, here's this. And, if anybody's, I mean, I try to always, help someone, if I see you at a show, you've never gotten a guitar pick, here's a guitar pick, whatever I can do. Um, I mean, and I'm,
Just the people, Josh. Because I mean, for example, Orlando, when I went a couple weeks ago, my wife couldn't go. She got stuck working that night. I'm like, I'm gonna go to a show myself, and I'm like, wait a minute, Gail's gonna be there. This person's gonna be this person. So I was like, it's we're gonna meet for lunch, dinner before, or whatever. It's all these people that you would never in a million years. Uh,
yeah,
no,
yeah. I mean, it's the people. I mean, the majority of them I like. There's some of you out there that I keep this. Oh shit, I locked it. There, that. Keep an eye on you. But um yeah, it's great. You go to shows and well, I mean, I think I've said it a lot on some of the older podcasts is you never go to a Night Ranger show by yourself. We're always on tour, man. Fans in motion. Um so yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is the community. But no, Dave, I never thought that, um, you know, this. And I always joke like it's weird sometimes, like, oh yeah, I didn't text Brad Gillis back yesterday. I may need to do like I leave these guys on read more than I should. And um yeah, it's like there, whoever thought that. And I also talking about the whole community thing, I always equate it to you know, the blind melon. Ever no rain where
yeah, yeah, no rain.
Bumblebee girl, she's by herself, and then that would be us. We'd be here's Dave Nadelman going around town in his Brad Gillis Bumblebee jumpsuit. Everybody looking at him, making fun of him and stuff. Man, shit. That's a medium. You should be wearing an XL. You're like, I don't care, man. It's Brad Gillis Bumblebee outfit. And then all of a sudden you open up the fucking genie lamp and you're in a world where there's a bunch of us other guys in two small Brad Gillis Bumblebee outfits and a whole bunch of the other ladies in the Brad Gillis Bumblebee outfits. But they all looking fine. You know what I mean, Dave?
I
They
know
look,
what you
yeah.
mean.
And yeah, and we're all there and we're all frolicking, man. The fucking I will follow you and all that other great stuff. And that is what we created. A bunch of bumblebee wearing motherfuckers
Motherfuckers, exactly.
just frolicking to seven wishes.